growth segment. Always looking to provide you double the information and inspiration for your mind, your body, and your spirit. We're interested in making sure that the realness, the authenticity, the rawness of what makes us us, you are able to benefit from, glean from, and share with others. Because we don't share this information with you for you to keep it to yourself. The whole me, myself, and I, us, for no more mentality is out the window. And we want you to share. We want you to be able to retweet and twat and Facebook.
We don't want to twat.
Tweet and twat.
Twat not.
Yeah. Tweet
Twat
and
not.
twat. Multiple distribution outlets. We want to make sure how
don't
we need to
distribute
get
your twat, ladies.
however we need to get you the information. We just got to talk about cryptocurrency. We got some cryptocurrency for you. And
Bitcoin.
we gonna make it happen for you. Thank you, Nia, for being here.
Yes.
No problem at all. I'm honored.
When we had shared earlier, you were talking about authenticity and keeping stuff real and
keeping it raw.
How the man has brainwashed us into thinking that we are less than. And they tell us his story, which is not necessarily the real story.
Facts.
And we buy into anything that is shared with us.
That's true.
Without fact checking.
Correct.
Without making sure that what is being shared is good for us.
And our soul and our heart.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So what is it that we need to do in order to get the authenticity of the information that's needed in order for us to be the best versions of ourselves?
You got to learn to listen to your heart, your spirit. I think we run away from that. We move away from that. When we start off as children, we know everything already. Like, we already know how to be forgiving, loving, playful. And then as we grow, our parents and the school systems and these different structures start to tell us who we're supposed to be. And we start to forget who we were from birth, what our uniqueness was. Is that a word? Uniqueness? We start to forget our unique version of ourselves because everybody else is telling us who we're supposed to be. We start to move away from being original and become just another print copy of what everybody else is, living up to everybody else's expectations because that's what we think we're supposed to do. And so it starts with going back to the soul, or, as some people believe, going back to God or going back to source. Who am I meant to be? What does my heart really want to do? What is my heart? How does my personality want to evolve outside of what everybody else has told me? Am I too loud? What if I enjoy being loud? Am I too free? What if I enjoy my freedom? Am I too restricted? Am I able to move away from that restriction so that I can feel and really experience life for what it is? So that's my passion. What I want to show people is who you really are before everybody taught you who you were.
A theme that we have been having here today is celebrating differences. It's a platform that I ran on many years ago at Syracuse University. 800 African Americans, 23,000 white folk, and here I am, colored boy, trying to run for office to represent the university. Everybody thought I would lose. I thought I would too, but I wasn't running for the purpose of winning, but for the purpose of making a point.
Right.
And the point was celebrating our differences and that we're all different. And we need to embrace the authenticity of who we are, whose we are, how we were made and built. And through that platform, ironically, I ended up winning. And was able to make some positive changes and strides along the way.
Right.
But we're all born for a particular purpose, and we're not all cut out of the same cloth.
Correct.
And we have to recognize that about ourselves and be able to walk in our own individual truths.
Facts.
I was listening to Michael Jr., who is a comedian, and he was doing a TED Talk, and he said that life is like a comedian's joke. There's a setup, and then there's a punchline. The setup is to get everybody to follow along, and then you flip it real quick. Often in our life, we're set up for what it is that we're supposed to be doing, but then we get set back. And he said you actually have to realize that the farther the set back, the more advanced you'll get in the setup, because it's like a slingshot. It pulls you back. It's stress, it's strain, it's challenges, and it's not meant to keep you there, because once it's released and you get to where we fail, he was saying, is that we don't know where our punchline is. We don't know where we're aiming.
Yeah.
We just sit and settle down in our setback. But the further, the more adversity you have, that should really propel you, you know, and going forward.
And I think the key to what you said is should, because sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
Because the rubber band ends up breaking in the process.
Absolutely.
Therefore, that trajectory never fulfills its purpose and calling. And that's why sometimes when you have individuals that have that overnight success and you don't know where it came from,
Right.
they actually were able to benefit from that trajectory versus those people that allow that rubber band to break,
Right.
and they end up falling by the wayside.
Yeah.
And even with that rubber band, there's sometimes people back there clipping it, because
Cutting it. Yep.
literally, your environment can propel you
That's good.
or hold you back. And I'm not
Facts.
talking about I live in a hood. I'm talking about your in-home environment.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there are single moms with plus kids and working multiple jobs, but they're making it happen for their kids. And then their sons and daughters grow up and say, I'm doing this for my mom because I saw her. But then you've got the same on the other side of the coin, they just got a bunch of babies collecting child
You ain't
support,
gonna
and they're
never be
not
nothing.
doing anything,
Yes.
just like
You
your
just like your
daddy.
daddy.
Those are ones back there clipping that rubber band
Yeah.
when you get set back.
And that's that program I'm talking about. It's like you really have to move away from even your parents sometimes to really define who you are, because your parents have been through their struggles. You know, they've been programmed a certain way. They've been told who they are not. And so they learn to tell you that. Like you said, there's the angry and bitter woman that's upset with the father of her children, and she looks at you and she's like, you're going to be just like your dad. My mother wasn't angry, but I do remember her saying, you're selfish like your dad. And I had to reflect on that. Like, I just recently reflected on that maybe 2 weeks ago and was like, dang, I am kind of selfish. And I had to be real with myself so that I could remove the selfishness, because I'm like, I've been so disappointed by my dad. Like, even as an adult, I've been so disappointed by my dad. So how do I reprogram myself so I'm not like him? Like, how do I look in the mirror so I'm not like him? And I text a bunch of my friends and I was like, you know what? I need to start becoming a better woman of my word. And I'm going to honor that, because my father was not a man of his word.
And sometimes it takes for people to point certain things out from us, because oftentimes people don't want to look at themselves. They don't want to face the person in the mirror and evaluate, you know, what are my areas of opportunity for improvement? You know, what is it that I can do to make myself better for myself, because I love myself enough to want to be healthy from a mental, spiritual, physical standpoint. One of the words that you had said stuck out to me when you first was introducing yourself. You said print copy of ourselves. We live in print. I was like, I've never heard that before. Like, that is right. You're right.
Versus carbon copy.
Well, right, versus the real you of who you are intended to be.
The original.
Because we have different influences that tell us or try to convince us of who we should be. That print copy of ourselves. Print meaning magazines, you know, just all these movies.
Billboards
All,
and- yep.
right, and all you see mostly, and it's starting to get more and more diverse, but mostly of what you've been seeing are these what's the big term now, hot girl summer body, you know, and
What's
every
that?
the hashtag.
I just see the hashtag everywhere. I think it's
Everywhere.
But what's the picture attached to the hashtag?
well, it's
What
a
it look
hot
like?
girl
It's a hot
summer
girl?
body. It's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
a
Just
model.
the 36, 24, 36?
Yeah.
I thought it had something to do with
I
twerking
seen
or
that
something.
somewhere
Actually, it's
before.
not even a brick house. It is
Really?
literally the Victoria's Secret type model.
They're trying to get the Barbie
Skinny
back.
chick.
The Barbie
Okay.
back, yeah.
Really?
You know what? They should come
But
out
I
with a song.
thought-
We're bringing Barbie back. Yep.
No, we're not.
Actually, Barbie coming back in a whole bunch of different shapes and
really
sizes
is.
and shades and
That's
hairs and
what I
lips
meant.
and
They got
butts
LGBT Barbie now.
Yeah.
Listen,
they really do.
that's what I meant by it's
Oh,
becoming
yeah.
more diverse, because I see more plus size models and models who, what some people say are flaws, these ladies are flaunting it in a tasteful way, the same way a Naomi
Lick my
Campbell
stretch marks.
or a Tyra Banks
My
would.
tiger
Right.
marks.
They're embracing their
Right.
beauty marks is what they call it. So it's called your beauty marks. You know, what most people would think or society would think are flaws, they're embracing their carbon copy of themselves versus living that print copy.
Print copy.
And that's what I mean. Like, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Even with the LGBT, what is it? Did I say it right?
LGBT.
Yeah, that one, the alphabet.
The alphabet.
You know, it's like, even with that, at least when people are being accepted, now this opens up the pathway for me to start accepting myself and loving myself, because others around me, we're supposed to start within, but sometimes it helps when others around you are accepting of you, because then I can go within and I'm like, okay, I'm a little overweight, but I'm beautiful.
But I think that's where social media comes in for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And their whole posting of selfies, because statistically people suffer from low self-esteem. So the whole advent of selfies was to actually help a person's low self-esteem by them taking pictures and posting it of themselves, and have people comment complimentary of them. So now they feel better about themselves and how they look, and my curves and my rolls and my bloodshot eyes and my crooked eye and my big nose, and
my butterfly
they
lashes.
start to love themselves again.
Yes.
But I think in the process, we need to forgive other folk that we thought were supermen, and they really weren't. As a child, when we're growing up, my children, I was Superman. But they 5, 6, 7 years old, Daddy can do no wrong. I'm the man. I got an answer for everything. Got plenty of money, the whole nine. But then they become teenagers.
Yeah.
And they start to realize, you don't got as much money as I thought you know. and I wanted this, and I wanted that. Exactly. So it's like, so they start to see the real you, the authentic you. And I think sometimes we don't grow up, and we keep that mental image of that person being that Superman.
Yeah.
And they're really not.
And we put those expectations on everybody else.
Everybody
else.
Superman and Superwoman and
I'm just Jenny from the block.
And it's got to be a balance. You got to understand we're all human. That's the thing. Find that balance. We're all human. You know what I mean? Even those people that you look up to on social media, oh, she's so beautiful. She has all this makeup on, but behind closed doors, she's depressed.
She's crying.
She's suffering.
Absolutely.
She's struggling. So there is a balance. The reality of it is you can look at these people on social media and be inspired, but you still have to find you. Because if you don't find that balance, then you're mocking what somebody else is doing. And there goes that print copy again. So when I think about it, I'm like, you know, you have this printer and you're printing out this page, the same page. Everybody goes through this system where they're being printed out the exact same way. But then that one page comes out wrong and you mistreat it because, oh, it's wrinkled. It doesn't have the same lines on it. You know what I mean? And that's what society does to us. Oh, you're different. You're wrong for being different. You know, we fear people that are different and things that are different.
You talk about the print copy that's, you know, going back to social media. They post, they have the, you know, the nice, like, I love reading their motivational quotes and things like that. But when that's the cover, when you open up the book,
right?
If you keep scrolling, you don't see any substance. You don't see, you know, that. It's like if you're a beautician, be a beautician.
Yeah.
Look the part, you know, dress the part. If you're a fitness enthusiast, look the part, dress the part. If you're, you know, what have you. And I try my best, because I have young nieces and nephews. As I'm watching them scroll and swipe and liking this, I ask, you know, why do you like that? You know, what's about that? And why wouldn't you like this? Not because I want to know where their mindset is. Because if they're liking all these cute pictures, these cute selfies and whatever else, but that person has not shown them, I'm not just cute here, but my lifestyle is a reflection of what I just said.
Yeah.
Because they'll end up being selfish. They'll end up being, you know, having that it's all about me. It's the, you know,
more
that
of an
whole
ego,
image.
a superficial ego vibe. Yeah.
Absolutely, because social media is not teaching us substance. It's just teaching us concept.
Face value.
That's why I believe in social media cleanses. I went through my social media and unfollowed the women that I followed just because they were pretty and all they would do was post selfies. Nothing wrong with that. That to each his own. But it wasn't really doing anything for my spirit. And, you know, subconsciously, you get programmed really easily by what you see.
That is why I asked. That's why I need to know, why did you like that?
What is it about them? Does this person have substance? Or, you know, I have a 15-year-old son. Well, I have 3 kids, but I have a 15-year-old son. And I'm so proud of him because he'll put me on to celebrities on social media. Like, Mom, I'm pretty sure you would like this guy. There's a guy, I don't know his name, but he used to play on Roll Bounce. But he's like a motivator now. He was in the movie Roll Bounce, the light-skinned kid with the fro. I don't know if y'all remember. But he's super dope. Like he's a life coach. He's a creator. He does art. And in between his silly videos, he's also motivating and inspiring people and sharing loving messages. So I'm like, okay, that's who you need to follow. Somebody like that. If they don't have any substance and they're just bragging, imagine these 15-year-old kids getting on social media and they're like, I want money. I want to take pictures with money up to my ear and gold teeth in my mouth. I don't care about the gold teeth if that's what you want to do, but do you have some substance behind it? Do you are you finding who you really are? Are you doing the gold teeth because you want to? Or
Did
because
he
everybody
shout
else
out
did?
to the pawn shop where he got them gold teeth? They got to take them back.
Exactly.
It goes back to I have a dream.
Yeah.
Once again, that was the whole message of a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Because we were so shallow and we were judging people based upon appearances, but not based upon the content of their character.
Yeah. Indeed.
Stop looking at the outward man and start looking at that inner person.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. And people are so caught up in the visual and the big button, a smile, and the Coca-Cola this. That ain't going to keep you. That ain't going to sustain you. That is not the meat of the matter. And people just don't understand that.
Right. And it doesn't add to your life experiences. If anything, if you remain superficial, it takes away from your life experiences because you're going to get older. You're not going to look the same.
That's right.
Your body's not going to look the same.
Accidents,
so what
illnesses.
are you doing for your spirit, for your soul?
Yes.
You know, that's really important. So I'm thankful because, like I said, with my son, he decided to go and get his ears pierced with his dad a few years ago. And my thing was, did you do it because everybody else was doing it or because you wanted to do it? So I made him take it out because he was like, it was a trend. Nope, we're not going to do that. When you decide that you really want to do it, then we'll do it because you wanted to, because that's your unique message. And it was funny because he had a strong lesson behind that not too long after. He went to school and was around some boys and they were doing, they were having like an inappropriate conversation about a young lady at the table. He got in trouble because he was sitting at the table with the boys. And I said, see, that's what happens when you follow the crowd.
That's right.
Don't follow the crowd no more, because if you do, you're going to end up in the principal's office or in a much worse place. That could have went way worse than it did. So learn a lesson to be an individual. So now he's to the point where he's very selective about his friends.
That's very good.
He doesn't play about the conversations he's around.
Right.
We talk about, like, I've asked him about drugs and things like that. And he's like, no, I don't hang around people that do drugs. I don't, because I like my mind strong.
If you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
How can people follow you and tune into you? And
my Instagram is Nia_Kepera. That's NIA_KHEPERA. And I'm also a radio personality myself. My show is called Authentically Nia, and that comes on every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Family, I have just been convinced on the Profit and Growth Hour not to get those red lips on my neck, which was a trend at some point in time. So I was just going to. Oh, the teardrop. No, I think you got to kill somebody though to get a teardrop.
You can get a cross.
A cross underneath my eye.
Or you can get a 69 like that dude that's in court right now.
Oh, the 69.
Don't do that.
Forehead.
And
Please
on
don't
his
do that.
neck.
Oh, okay.
It's a big thing.
You can always do your Mike Tyson tiger.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I should get a picture of my mama, like right here
or
on my
the rock,
cheek or something.
All the way, the rock, the
I
tattoo
already
he
got
got.
that.
Let's see.
You're tuned in to the
Liar.
Profit and Growth Hour here on WDRBmedia, the voice of the community.
You always brag about how you the Rock's twin. I got that tattoo.
Let a brother dream. I have a dream that one day.
You got a razor burn.
Hilarious.